What's going on, beautiful people? It's D'Lo Brands here, your source for non-technical AI walkthroughs. And today we are diving into a 3D image generator, model generator, a one-stop shop for 3D designers. If you are a 3D designer, you need to see this website. And this website is actually called Hyper 3D, and they have a model called Rodin. It is currently in Gen 1.5 version 1.2. So a lot of stuff to unpack here. Hyper 3D, I'm thinking, is literally just looking to be the 3D asset AI platform. And as we can see, a lot of people have generated their own models. They've generated robot cats. They've generated little telephones, different lighting you can see. Really, really cool platform. So what we're going to explore here is there are different options. Of course, you can input an image, you can input text. So very, very straightforward, but you can also kind of change the dimensions of your generation given bounding boxes. So let's say you want to have a square generation, then you can upload that within the Rodin generator and it will adhere to that bounding box. You can also combine different textures and different models together. You can say, hey, bring these two assets together. You can also bring, different variables, textures, stuff like that into it. They also have something called chat avatar where you are able to create different faces. I know a lot of people were using like Daz, or is it Daz, something like that, for skin textures in cover art or in animators, stuff like that. And people have been generating faces. We're not going to look into this today, but it is a feature that they have. They also have a bunch of free tools that are going to help 3D designers and people that use Blender and Cinema 4D to be able to create environments better, create better textures. You can upload a model and then an image and it will match that. A rodent search is basically where you can upload your own 3D model and it will search for other related 3D models or just get inspiration. Vecto 3D, this is where you can bring your logo and it will turn it into a 3D model where you can take it into Blender and create an animation, or you can utilize the 3D render that it gives you on platform. Mesh editor, so this is basically where you can sculpt out your meshes for your models. You can change where the eyes are, you can change where the belt is, you can do things like that. You can also view models in full resolution right here on Hyper 3D, which is very, very powerful. And like I said, all of this stuff is completely for free. And last but not least, you have the format converter. So if you have a 3ds file and you want to change it to obj, if you have glb and you want to change it to amf, you can come here for free and utilize it. But we are going to generate our own 3D model here, and let's say that we are creating a game that the main character is a monkey. So in our text input, what we're going to put is a monkey general. And that's all we're going to put. We're not going to put anything crazy. In the example that it did give us, it was something very simple. So I think that this will be cool. And let's see what it gives us. So we can, I guess, get an image preview and we can choose whether we want to continue with this. We can shuffle it to get more. I think that first one was definitely the best one. This one looks like a monkey general as well. So let's go one more. Let's go one more. So sometimes the generations aren't going to be very, very good. But here we can see that the tail is a little messed up. So I'm going to go a couple more times. Let's go with this one. So basically, when we utilize text input, we are able to get a picture and it will use that picture to generate whatever it needs to generate. So let's click generate. And you can also set whether this is a private or public generation. For free, you have 10 private generations, which is, if you have a proprietary project that you're working on, then you can go ahead and make your generations private. It does look like our generation has finished. And if you did watch my last video of Vivago AI, it does have a text to 3D generator. However, it just simply didn't do that good. You can actually change a few things in here. So you can look at it in different styles. You can turn it around 3D. So we can see that the model isn't perfect. It has 3 tails, but it definitely does look like a monkey. I mean, a monkey general. I think this is pretty cool. So right here they have direction, and I'm guessing that's for the actual finished generation. So a lot of this stuff is definitely premium, but let's just confirm unlock with subscription. So we can do quad mesh. Let's do quad mesh. Quads. Is this generated object symmetrically? No, it's not. So we have other options down here. We can use base model. We can use high poly, LOD. Not even sure what that is. Remember, this is non-technical reviews. I do have some 3D experience, but not nothing like these 3D designers that are making entire commercials. That's kind of crazy. You can change the actual file that you get, so the resolution as well, and whether it is shaded or PBR, if you know what that means. So right here, a few options: detailed, symmetric, edges, smooth, simple. You can utilize those preset options to get different generated outcomes from it. And I think it's, very, very cool for that. But once this finishes, we will be back. All right, so bam, this is the finished model. It looks really polished. Of course, it does have multiple tails, but inside the program you can probably change that. It gives you the option to download and publish and share, or not share, but you can change it. You can generate a material for it. You can generate the geometry for it. So let's generate the material, and it's going based off of the image that it generated from our text input, which is very, very cool. So let's generate the material. A couple of options were in there, and you can add more images, but we're gonna let us do its thing. And bam, it has completed the material, which obviously is not perfect, but it did do a good 60-70% of the work. Some 3D designers might not like, and I accidentally clicked generate again, but we'll just get a different version, I guess. Okay, nah. But a lot of 3D designers may look at this and say, hey, I might as well just build it from scratch. But you shouldn't be looking at this as a end product generator. You should look at this as an ideator. Before you go into your program and spend hours building out this model that you don't really know how it's going to turn out, you can go to a platform like this and see and ideate and kind of get your ideas together. You can come here and generate different textures and get tons of inspiration about what you do want to do with your 3D design. So that was really cool. But I do want to check out the Vecto 3D, which many people are probably going to use. I'm sure that you have a logo right now where you just want to change it into a 3D. And so I'm going to demo that for you now. I'm going to put the Views Agency logo, which you do have to have it in an SVG format. So let's do, okay, so we're going to do our side logo. We can continue to the editor, and what we can say, we can change the thickness. So the thickness changes, and you can see really easy 3D text right here. If you wanted to create a design really quick and you wanted some 3D text of your logo, you could use this for it. But you can heavy bevel, light bevel. Let's do a heavy bevel and increase the thickness a little bit more, maybe all the way. Let's do all the way. We can change the material. So if we want it to be metallic, matte, or plastic, or glass. I really like glass textures for logos, but it looks like it's a little bit more see-through, especially this little one right here. I'm not sure if it's affecting the entire thing or just a part of it, but yeah, you can change the environment. You can put it in a city type of reflection, and this is the HDRI. This is the basically environment lighting. You can change it to warehouse. It has those reflections in it. which is really, really cool. You can change the actual background. You can change it to a blue background, a gray background, green background. If you go to clay matte, you can change the color. Yeah, so I was suspecting that this SVG was only, adhering to that part, changing that material part. So I'm not sure about that. But you can change the color. Say we wanted it to be red, or we can want it to be black. And that's pretty cool. Auto rotate model. Nice. And so you can export this as an image, a high quality image, or you can export this in 3D. Let's say you don't know how to go inside of Blender and do this same thing. You can just do it here, export it to 3D, open it in Blender, and then animate it how you want to, do whatever you want. But let's just export this image high quality, and you guys see it on the screen right now. This isn't something that is a finished product that I would use. I just wanted to demo it for you. If your SVG is a black logo, then of course you'll have a black logo. This isn't the prettiest thing, but it is a tool that you can utilize to get some fast results. Now, last but not least that I want to check out is the chat avatar. So in here, you can utilize text to generate 3D faces and basically, replace DAS or DAS. And so we can describe this. Let's just say a clown-faced robber. And let's generate. And this is actually going to help us build out this prompt. This is very, very nice. So it says, interesting concept. Can you describe his age, style, or any unique traits? Okay. And it gives you some sample stuff down here as well. He has a unique tattoo on his neck, a scar above his left eyebrow. He has a big smile with crooked teeth and a distinct laugh. He looks like Jim Carrey in The Mask. He looks like the Joker with a nose ring and a scar on his face, a thin scar on his face. So let's send this. And now it's changing the prompt over here. It's saying face, male, clown face, robber, Joker, nose ring, thin scar. And this is basically helping us hone in the prompt, which is very, very cool. So you can utilize different models here: Dreamface V2, Hero Style, Tunify Style, Dreamface V1, and we're just going to use Dreamface V2 because it looks like these two are more on the cartoon end. You can add some preset prompts, so golden ratio, wrinkle. Let's do wrinkle, and let's click generate. All right, boom. So our generation has finished, and this looks exactly like how I wanted it to look. In all honesty, it looks like the Joker. I mean, if he smiled, I'm pretty sure that he'd have, the right sides and the right makeup where it needs to be. So, let's say you're doing a project where you want to put some type of Joker looking character. You can come in here and you can license. You'll be granted permission to use the asset commercially. So this takes 5 credits. You are going to be able to license these. So I'm guessing that Hyper 3D actually owns all of the 3Ds, all of the face generations that you make on their platform. And so you can read the full agreement. I'm not going to get into that, but this is really, really cool that you would take this face texture into whatever program that you use. DAZ 3D is the one I keep mentioning. You can take it in there, play with it, change the wrinkles, ZBrush, do whatever you need to do and utilize it for your project. Well, that is the end of today's video. Let me know what you think about this tool and if you would use it for any of your projects, and also your favorite part about it. Thank you so much for stopping by. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Again, thank you for the support on the latest videos. I will definitely be keeping these coming out, given the feedback that you guys have given. So be sure to check out this video right here. You may find some interest in it. And this has been Delo Brands, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.